Today is Taco Tuesday. Or whatever Tuesday you want it to be. Me, I just say that. Here once again in the morning for your listening pleasure. Tuesday morning mental health message. I am William Stevens, the voice of the voiceless. So, yesterday, remember I was going like that and you were hearing like naval gunfire or freaking cannon fire? Well, I met an individual yesterday who I had just asked. I'm like, hey, do they have a range or something? And he's like, no, they do it every morning. And I'm like, could have fooled the fuck out of me. Yesterday, that shit sounded like an all-out war. But so, I believe overnight, the birds, they land on the airfield and do their thing. So they have cannons lined up along the airfield. And they shoot these cannons to get the birds off the airfield because I believe the C-130s and the C-5s and C-17s, they can't land on the airfield when the birds are all over the place because like here in Florida, it's like a fucking preservation thing going on. So I shit you not, man, there's like a preservation dude driving around here fucking saving birds, and if there's just like a fucking dead bird on the road, man, he'll go fucking get it. Pretty wild shit, man, here, because like from what I'm being told, this shit behind us, it's like all cordoned off, like it's all forest and shit. There's like a little path you can walk all the way down. I believe that shit behind me used to be a launch pad because they call this like launch pad 54 or something. I don't know. I have no idea. But you know, it's fucked up. Some of y'all are living in neighborhoods where they built that shit up where there used to be a launch pad. Yep. So alright. So I don't want to play the cat and mouse game here, and I definitely don't want to play like he said it, you said it, they said it. So if you know and you follow me, and there's not a lot of people that look at my videos in the morning, and that's okay. But it only takes one person to fuck up everything. So, and that's like me saying something about another, podcast or streaming person. So there, I'm sorry about that. But then you're going to say, why is he sorry when he's going to come back and say what I'm going to say? Supposedly, if you go back and look at yesterday's message, you'll see an individual left a message. So that person is like supposed to be one of two freaking Gods of Veteran podcasts. So I'm not going to call that individual out because that guy never did anything to me. But he is starting to piss me off because he's jumping on my feed and making comments because, like, I don't know. So, so I might have went a little overboard yesterday with the remark where I went like this and all that and stuff like that. But you know what? It's all because of one person. I'm not going to name that person. But I made a remark or I made a post about an individual who's not getting help. So I want to tread lightly here so I don't fuck everything up, because I do fuck things up. If I would have never spoken to that guy personally, and I didn't call him, the people who called me gave him my number. So really, I don't give a fuck. I don't. If he would have never called me, I probably never said what I said. But I'm glad that he called me because, you know what? he's considered the horse's mouth. So when someone's struggling and they call you and tell you that all the shit that people have been doing for them ain't working, it might put something in your head, because like, this guy's a hard charger, you know. And I asked him, I'm like, why do you do it? Do you do it for yourself because you're so injured and, you know, got a patch over your eye and in a wheelchair and all that shit, you know? And you gotta be like, you gotta watch the way you talk to individuals like that, because like you could trigger them to like commit suicide, or hell, you didn't know if that guy had a gun to his head or what. But it's weird because I've talked to some individuals who have spoken to this gentleman for hours. I mean hours. And I couldn't talk to him for hours because like, it's almost like his message to me is worthless, okay? And the reason why I say that is he's fighting for something that he is not going to win. So I will tell you that, like, something that he's fighting for, I don't really know the whole situation. I believe it's an open case, so I don't want to talk about it. But I have publicly opened up online and said, why is he posting the shit that he's posting? Why is he putting, whatever, you know, all this stuff? And I openly told a few people that when I was on streams with them, I'm just going to call them, he would always be on there. And I don't want to say he's like 10-second Tom, but he's very intelligent, very smart. He knows what he's doing. I mean, when I talk to him, fucking he knows the regulations and shit. But like, when I be on the different podcasts or streams and he's on there, I'm talking not in the comments, he's like physically on there. It's not like he's physically on there. He's putting pictures and stuff of his case and all that, and now he's putting the shit out on the internet. And I believe there's some places you can put that shit, but if you have an open case and open investigation, man, I would tread lightly. I wouldn't put that shit out on social media, because, and I don't know the whole thing, so I'm just saying. And when him and I talked, he told me, and I was shocked, that there's a lot of people that were helping him, but like that shit fell through. So this guy needs like a $5,000 retainer to get like a real fucking lawyer, like someone to help him. But I really don't think a real lawyer is going to take his case, because you know what? Big Pharma ain't allow. Big Pharma and the VA ain't going to allow it. I'm telling you. Like, I told this guy, dude, you need to fucking write a book. You need to write a book. If he's spending all this money to go out to all these different states and fucking Capitol Hill and all this shit, he's talking to the wrong people, man. I recommended to someone that follows him and talks to him all the time that this guy needs to build a website, and he fucking needs to get his message out there. Because him going out in a wheelchair and wherever he's at, on a bridge or somewhere with some goofy sign and something saying about traitors and what's it called? I don't know. The government, you know. And when I spoke to him, he said he's not doing it for himself. He's doing it for, and it blew me away, the oath and the creed. Now, he wasn't a non-commissioned officer. I think he got out as a staff sergeant from photos that he posts all over the internet. And I was blown away by that. That's something that hasn't changed for many years. The oath that you take, the oath of enlistment, the oath to our country, and the creed of the non-commissioned officer. So supposedly he's doing this for all his brothers and sisters who fall in the same category, that some of them aren't even here no more. So this ain't really even a morning message. This is kind of like I'm pointing my finger at you, because I don't understand the whole story. And someone that I respected highly got me put on these podcasts. So he's like the God's gift to fucking podcast veteran people. Now we're like against each other, and it's not even that. I don't even think the reason why I stopped going on there. I had a really great group. I'm not gonna put no names out here because I don't want fucking legal people coming after me and shit. But you can do your homework if you start looking at the comment section of yesterday's post, and you'll know who the guy is. And I'm sure he's gonna make a comment, and I really don't give a fuck. But he got me put on a really good podcast, and then I jumped around and found other podcasts because I asked people if they knew this guy and they didn't know who he was. And I know that some of these podcast people talk. So, like I said, there's a lot of great podcasts, and the podcasts that I talked about yesterday are great podcasts. Non-profit, people donate, people buy apparel, everything. And when I talked to them on the telephone a while back about trying to be on their podcast, like as a team member, they told me they have a different mission than what I want, and they think that I'm trying to put my platform on their platform. But then when I said I bleed this certain color, you know, they said they came up with a mutual agreement that they didn't want me on the show. So there is an individual out there. I really don't know her story. I don't give a fuck about her story because, like, I think she's the one that's making it bad for me. So, because the other group that I was on, she was on there, and when I would go on there, because I was feeling stressful and shit, and I wanted to listen to these people talk, you know, and it wasn't even about my story. Like, I just want to fucking hear what they had to say, because some of them are like certified therapists and shit like that. But when I came on, she went black. Like, her screen went black. So I already knew she had something against me. And then we kind of had like this little battle online, you know. And I finally realized what happened to her in the military. And I'm sorry that happened to her. But I made a comment that she was a bad apple. So I think that's what fucked me up. Because I guess she jumps around to different podcasts and people and talks the smack she does or whatever and says her little poetry and all that. We all have our different missions. Now, I'm not even a non-profit. I don't even know what the fuck I am. Like, I use my own retirement. And some people can't say they use their own retirement and disability to do what they're doing. Because I know some of these podcast people, these agents, these organizations, because I'm not an organization, will get hundreds and thousands of dollars and do the shit that they do, and they, you know, and it's not all going to veterans, because, like, who's going to pay for all the bands and shit to play and set up all the shit? Because that's not all I know that's not all voluntarily. They ain't doing that shit, man. So some of the money's got to go somewhere. And I know that there's some, one of the only veteran organizations that I know that really helps people, and I believe, I don't want to say their name because I'm going to butcher it. I think it's Operation Stronghold in Texas. Yeah, so, but a lot of these other veteran podcasts, they all involved with them. I've never really talked to them. Hell, I was even not thinking about taking my fucking RV down there and fucking giving it to them. But now, I don't know. But I am making, like, a fucking black eye for myself in the veteran community. Well, not in the veteran community, but in the podcasting community for veterans. And, hey, I'm just going to keep going, man. If you don't want me on your podcast, I don't give a fuck. I'll do my own podcast and get my message out. Because just because I was on your one podcast doesn't mean that I got this many followers, you know. I got those followers because of this shit I do right here. I'm online daily. You know, you got to do your work. You're at work daily. I don't have a job. So, and the last thing I just want to say is, some of these people, they living in big houses. I mean, big houses. They got lots of cars. They got lots of money. I don't know how they got all that money. They're entrepreneurs or whatever. Me, I live in my RV. Me, I sweat my ass off every day. But you know what? I'm out on the road, man. I'm out on the road. I'm interacting with people. I just interacted with the a command master chief and his wife yesterday, and she started talking about how the VA fucked her husband over on medication use, and I said, hey, you know what? I would say, why don't you buy my book, The Mirror? But they left yesterday, so I interacted with them and talked to them. They were talking to my dog, and we had a good conversation. And the day before yesterday, I took one of my only hardbacks left. I have one hardback of The Mirror left, and I took it over, and I gave it to him, and he immediately came out of his RV and sat down and started reading it. Because he needed something like that. He needed something like that. And if my message can get out to people like that, I don't need to take a picture fucking my arms and shit around them showing that I did it. Because you know I did it. You know, I'm not going to fucking sit here and make up stories and shit. Man, if my book can help one person, or books or a platform can help one person, I'm doing my job. Because I'm not going to come on here every day and fucking ask you for money and say buy my t-shirt, buy my stickers and shit like that, because we need this money for blah 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 blah. And here's the other thing, I think it was like 8 or 9. I wasn't looking for a thank you. I mean, I saw they were doing like the Reefs Across America shit or something like that. Man, I donated this fucking money for these reefs and shit. I don't even know where the fuck they went, but I didn't even get a thank you, man. I didn't get a thank you email or fucking anything, man. At least when people do shit for me, man, I try to figure out who they are, man, and fucking personally come online or make a thing or something like that. And then, last of all, I got my boy Brian out there, who's a Marine Corps veteran. He got my book. I really appreciate the nice post that he did. Him and I didn't see eye to eye for a while, but I understand his message. He understands my message. Basically, keep my mouth shut. He does what he got to do. And then my boy Travis out there, he's fucking all over the place. Love that guy. And then there's other veteran organizations out there that I don't think they see what I'm actually doing. So, but if you know who you are, you know who you are. I didn't really want to like spend the time the morning to put this post out because I had other shit to say, and I don't want to go over 20 minutes because I'm just here blabbling. But some of those people that are following me or were following me, I just let them follow me, you know, because I want to see what they're going to say. So I don't go on groups no more and talk about shit. Like I listen to a few professional author things, and it was pretty cool that I did one, and I was real quiet, and the guy who like set up the whole thing said, hey, let's hear from Bill. What is Bill about? And I'm like, damn, I just came on here to listen to how to fucking market it and shit, and they want me to tell my story. But it's real short and sweet, you know. Hey, I got a platform called 1821productions.com. We're about maybe 1,300 people now, so the message is getting out there. And I'm trying to jump on as many veterans that I see that have served and are actually trying to do something. So, and I'm not even like trying to shine. I'm not trying to be on your podcast or anything. If you ask me to be on your podcast, then I'll be on your podcast. But I'm not gonna like beg you to be on your podcast and shit like that no more. And then my other individuals who, it's kind of sad that, you know, I did a what is it called? A voice monologue for Still Fucking Here. Submitted it to my audio people for my first book, The Mirror, to be put in there, and then come back and tell me don't post your stuff on our page, and stop bothering me. I don't run the page. Well, you're the one that reached out to me, so anyways. But I'm sorry that I had to call you out, but you know, I made up this monologue real cool and shit, and you tell me on the interview that no one's ever done that on your thing, and then suddenly my fucking interview just doesn't show up because there's technical issues, and then later on down the road you're like, hey, we don't, you know, we're not doing this right now, and don't reach out to us, we'll reach out to you. Well, I don't want to fucking hear from you. So I understand that you have your situation and I have mine, so good luck. Hell, they were here in Florida. I believe a lot of them live in Florida, and I wanted to go see them. It's like they don't give a fuck that I'm here. So I don't know, man. I don't know what black eye I put in there, but like I said, there's good veteran podcasts and some fucking real shitty people out there. But I think now when I go on a veteran podcast, like as a guest listening, I'm not even going to say I'm there. Because, I mean, it shows that you have the people follow. I'm not even going to be like, hey, I'm checking in, you know, I'm your buddy, and fucking I follow you every Sunday night, and whatever. Yeah. So, I don't want your fucking phone calls. Don't call me and bitch and say, why are you crying on the internet? Because there's one thing difference between you and me. I'm the voice of the voiceless. I don't give a fuck. So, this is Tuesday, your morning mental health message. I did get my ID card yesterday, so I feel much better. Now I'm waiting for my VA card because it expired. I got my benefits for my daughter back. Fucking crazy, man. So, if you have not read The Mirror, it's getting a lot of views, like on Amazon, like searches. Kind of blown away that it's both books are below the 100 number, meaning like top searches. If you want to know how fucked up the VA system is with veterans and their medication use, they're not going to tell you, so the veteran has to figure out, oh, this medication is fucking me up, or it's giving me bad kidneys or bad liver or some shit like that. And last but not least, for all my people, I've had several friends that got cancer and shit. I've been doing a lot of reading about it. I wouldn't get a biopsy if I were you. I wouldn't get a mammogram if I were you. Because they say the biopsy holds all the cancer cells. And I'm not a doctor, I'm not fucking a nurse or anything, but if I ever find out that I have that, they're not doing a biopsy on me, because I'll just live with whatever stage I have. You know, if I'm going to die, he wants me to die. I'm not going to do no chemo or all that shit to fucking keep me alive, because chemo kills you. Some people have survived it because they're fighters and they're strong. And then there's some people that are like super strong and shit, and then after they're done chemo, they look like they took Ozempic. So, don't get a biopsy, because when they pop it or take the sample, this fucking cells spread all over your body, and that's how you get fucking hey, I got skin cancer, now I got fucking prostate cancer. Oh, by the way, now you have kidney cancer because fucking they popped the biopsy and the shit's going all over your body. I got one good friend out there, my boy Dave. Hell, I don't even think he's supposed to be with us right now. He refused to do the chemo, and he's doing some other injection shit. So, I love you, man. I know you follow me. I haven't spoken to you in a while. I might drive up to the house while I'm home in Pennsylvania and check you out, man. Him and I kind of grew apart while I'm on the road, but I told him to focus towards his grandchildren. He don't need to worry about me, but I did give him a copy of my book, and he broke down in tears. So I'm there with you, Dave. You're my boy. He got fucked over by the government. I got fucked over by the government. We all, hey, eventually, hey, I believe the government's corrupt in ways that you wouldn't even believe. And I'm not talking about people trying to assassinate people and all that. I'm talking about the inner workings of the government where people don't see it or hear it. Yeah. So, but I really hope that they take this motherfucking Comey guy down. That's all the political shit I'm gonna hear, that you're gonna hear from me today. So, I appreciate everybody for fucking bearing with me. We're almost at 25 minutes. I just had to vent. I had to get that shit off my mind. So I'm sure I'm going to get comments. I'm sure I'm going to get fucking blasted in my DMs. But you know what? I say in my book, I'll just send you an emoji. If I don't answer you and I send you an emoji, you have got the response from me. So I guess, I'll take the comment back about bleeding green, because I was in the Army and I bleed green, but not the green that you want me to bleed in. So I bet a lot of people can't say that they bleed green. So. All right, 25 minutes, I'm out. Be the voice of the voiceless. Peace. Keep your hat on a swivel. Big Brother's watching and listening.